Yeah.
So here with Dan, we caught up yesterday and talked about something that Dan's gone and done recently. So it kind of raised the topic of not just anxiety, which we're going to touch on, but stepping outside of your comfort zone as well, because there's a lot of these are kind of interlinked. So yeah, it's just a bit of a shoot the breeze conversation, because Dan's been on a bit of an adventure, and the approach to what he's gone and done is something that is close to my heart and something that I actually find very cathartic as well. So yeah, Dan, welcome to Man Up. Long time no see. Yeah, I guess
this feels weird, man.
it does, doesn't it? But
No, it does. Yeah.
do you want to tell everyone about yourself a little bit? Introduce yourself. Or,
Oh, bloody yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. My name's Dan. But no, I think I've said in many videos about my anxiety, but actually, I've never actually said how bad my anxiety can sometimes be. And I don't want to shelf life this video. I don't want to go into host mode, but I think COVID took a lot of my identity away. I don't know if that sounded dramatic.
No, I think it took everyone.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, it changed the goalposts. You know, it changed the rules to a point where it was outside of everybody's control.
Yeah.
It's changed our approach to social interaction, both in the digital world and with technology, and out in person, and socialization. It absolutely has fundamentally changed everyone. I don't think it's necessarily isolated to anyone individually. We've all experienced it.
Yeah, but for me, it was the socialization anxiety, which was really, really causing me issues. Mate, I started freaking out going through high streets. And even Faye, but obviously, even Faye was just like, I'm not going to the supermarket with you. Because it was like I don't even want to say getting a hatred of people. I was just starting to freak out around people.
Yeah, and it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because like when you're isolated and you're not exposed to kind of like the herd, so to speak, you do become a little bit more insular, and I guess to a certain degree, whether it's inadvertent, a bit judgy about it, isn't it? It's you stand on the periphery and then laugh at the masses going and stocking up on milk and bread that's going to go off and they're going to end up chucking in the bin, all the way through to like stocking up on toilet paper, or when you're in the car and somebody does something silly and it just sets you off. I think it's just part of the human condition, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think especially during the whole COVID thing, like, as you know, I was still going out doing the soup kitchens and stuff like that. So my life was homeless people, Zoom in the business world, and there was just nothing in between. I kind of just like forgot who I was, and it was getting so bad until last week. Actually, it was just getting so bad where I was just blowing stuff out. I'm like, I don't want to be around people. So me being me, I decided to book a ticket to Brussels to go and help out a charity. And I decided I'm not going to do a cushy. I'm going to get the underground. I'm going to get the Eurostar, and I'm going to stay in hostels. Mate, I didn't even book where I'm going to stay.
I kind of how far out of your comfort zone are all of those things?
Mate, I was freaking out, but for me, I needed to do something. Some would say it's true. I don't think it's true. It's just I needed to do something to prove my own self-reliance.
Yeah.
Like I got the Eurostar on the Sunday. I remember like gallivanting around London at like 5 a.m. to realise half the tube stations don't open till 6:30, 7:30, blah blah blah. So in my head, I'm just like, okay, I've got no GPS because I'm down there. So I'm like looking at maps, trying to just go. I was in a weird. I wasn't in danger, but I was in like a situation where
it's unfamiliar.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I was so well and truly out of my comfort zone. And then getting on the Eurostar, which, to be honest, I had it in my head that it was crammed full of people. I thought it would be like a normal train.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like you got someone's bag in your face, and you got a farting kid and a dog licking your ankle and all this kind of stuff. And he certainly wasn't. I'm reborn. But even when I was in Brussels, I didn't get any taxis. I didn't use any public transport. I walked. Literally walked everywhere. And even when I was there, I stayed in a hostel with, every night was like, I think my room had 6 people in it, including me.
Yeah.
And every night was different people. There was somebody chewing, which still puts a rage in me. It's like chewing. There was somebody on their mobile phone at like 1 a.m, which, to be honest, normally that would have really caused me. I don't know. It would have caused me anxiety, maybe anger issues of losing my rag.
Yeah.
I had no choice to combat it.
Well, when was the last time you did something like that, as a man of years old? When did you actually do something that was so far out your comfort zone, where it's like you set the rules? You did it because you wanted to achieve something, right? You wanted to test yourself or challenge yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to give myself no choice other than surround myself with people, because I knew that would freak me out.
Yeah.
But when was the last time I'd done something like that? I don't know, really.
Would you do it again then?
Would I do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Even with that, like I've been going into like supermarket. I know it sounds quite lame, but even now I'm like going into supermarkets and not really bothering too much about other people. And if somebody's chewing too loudly, of course I still want to throttle them because it's disgusting and people need to learn how to get manners. But it doesn't bother me as much as it did there. I think it was just triggering stuff. There was obviously something what was just triggering something.
Yeah.
If that makes, I still don't know what that is, but for me, it's just allowed me to just give myself some self-reliance, which so far has nipped that side of. Is that extreme anxiety? Is that, I don't know. Is it extreme?
Who can say what's extreme to any given people? But like, I'd be interested to know as well, because I know we touched and kind of talked about it. It's like when you set the objective, right? I'm going to go and do this thing. I need to do it for my own personal health and like well-being, and like, but the anxiety is still there.
Yeah.
Right. Like you have to push yourself. You had to actually pull the trigger on it. Like all the way through to it's like, right, okay, I've not got this booked, but I'm packed. I've got my money, I've got my passport, I'm ready to go. How did you kind of work through that process?
Mate, I didn't even take any. I didn't even take any euros. I literally just took everything by like Apple Pay and all this kind of stuff. Mate, when I went to London, Faye went to me. She was like, "Where are you staying in London?" I went, "I'm going to wait at the station." And she was like, "No, no, you're not." I was like, "I'll be fine. It's only 12 hours." Because I'm one of these people. I have to get. Well, as you know, I'm never ever late. Never ever late on anything at all. I'm that person. I have to be there like 15 minutes before. I don't care if I'm sitting in a car. I have to be, because it literally just breaks my head if I'm late. I freak out. So I was like, okay, well, I'll get the train from Ipswich on Saturday night. I know my Eurostar was at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'll just sit at King's Cross. I've sat at King's Cross. Okay, I was off my face. I've sat at King's Cross in the Underground all night, many times. But then probably because I was buzzing my tits off. But now obviously I don't do that. But my wife was like, no, you're getting a hotel. I was like, a hotel in St Pancras is like 300 quid a night. And she ended up booking me a hostel. I won't say it, mate. This hostel was horrendous. It was worse than a prison. It was worse than a cell. And I remember taking a picture of it, saying, "You put me in a children's home," which obviously my background. I was raised in children's homes. I was like, okay, cheers, love, and whatever else. But like that, it was like all these beds stacked up with like these little curtains. Actually, do you know what? And I saw feet hanging out of beds, and now it's making me feel a bit sick. But actually, it was horrendous. I only got like 2 hours sleep. And so I think I've learned something from it, but I don't know what that is.
Did you engage with those people though? Like, when you're in a hostel and you're crammed into a bunk beds with each other, basically.
No, because barely anybody spoke English.
Yeah.
So actually, that's one thing I did learn from it, because I was in that situation where I can't really get any free time. I can't be on my own, and that's something that everyone knows me for. Is even on events, like I'll run to the toilet for 15 minutes just to breathe. I couldn't do that there. I was constantly surrounded by people, so actually I had to learn of other ways just to get, rather than going, right, I need 2 hours of my own because I'm going to freak out. That 5 minutes. I'm going to make that 5 minutes fucking work.
For example?
So again?
For example, what?
I don't know, like literally just climbing onto. I did Bagsy the top bed. I was purposely like I'd done the whole German thing of like, okay, I'm going to leave my towel here, and I did Bagsy the top bed. But it's just like, okay, I've got 5 minutes. I'm just gonna, in my case, I am a God squaddy Christian, as you know. I'm going to pick up the Bible for 5 minutes. I'm going to listen to a bit of Spotify for 5 minutes. Just all I needed was that 5 minutes. I didn't need 2 hours. I just needed that 5 minutes just to breathe.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, I think that I am. I think I would do, but now it would be more of a. It's not a mission, is it? It's not. Would I do it again? Yeah. For years.
Confidence comes from having done it and knowing that you've tried it. It wasn't terrible. Actually, it was quite cathartic. It doesn't make it any less of a challenge, you know, because anxiety doesn't just go away in a situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I would. Yeah, I'll do it again. Would I stay in a hostel? I'm not sure, because they are a bit shit. Like the one in London was horrendous. Like that place should be shut down immediately. But I won't say where it was. Message me if you want to know. But the place in Brussels, actually, it was really nice. It was clean. Like it was just nice. It wasn't that bad. So maybe. But yeah, to answer your question, would I do it again? Yeah, absolutely. Would I go abroad again? Where I've always been quite anti of just on my own. I've gone with mates, wife, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And even the thought of eating in a restaurant on my own.
Yeah.
I'd never. McDonald's and that does not count.
Nah.
I was going to like a restaurant on my own, and do you know what? I enjoyed it. I even stole a dog.
Yeah. Oh, well, I did see that, but no, I can empathise with that because
I did give it back before anybody bitches.
Yeah, well, wouldn't have got it through customs, but
yeah. Exactly.
But like, I did similar. I had a really tough time at the beginning of this year, and one of the things that I kind of do is just disappear into the middle of nowhere to go climb mountains on my own. And it's not necessarily there's any like anxiety or anything with it, but yeah, to build up the motivation to actually do it can be quite challenging. Because you know, if you're doing a grade 2 scramble and you're up a mountain, you're on your own. Yes, okay, you're letting people know where you are, but you know your life's in your own hands, and you're kind of doing silly things. But I find that incredibly cathartic because I'm a very introverted extrovert. You know, on one hand, I am hypersocial. I'm with people. We do events. You know, I'm involved in like festivals and music and go to gigs and all of this kind of stuff. But I'm like you, it absolutely drains my batteries. And I have to disappear. And I can be very quiet and calculated. And I need to be on my own to be able to recharge. And that's kind of one of my approaches. It's just like, you know, pack the car, camping equipment, disappear off into the wilderness for a few days and do that because it's that complete kind of disconnection. And you've only got yourself to rely on. So yeah, I'm an advocate for it, and I've traveled a lot on my own. But I like those kind of things. Like I was up in Snowdon, kind of beginning of the year to go and do a few bits and pieces, like poking around an old quarry up there in Chidwick. And I stayed at a hotel. I'm staying on my own, and one of the nice kind of things, it was like I would book the table for dinner because like you've been hiking for like 8 hours or whatever. Book the table for dinner. I got there and they give me a seat on my own, not 2 chairs, 1 chair, and they put a local newspaper on the table because they got to know that I was there on my own. So rather than you sat there staring at your phone, you know, you had the local, you know, rag to be able to kind of peruse through as you're looking at it. That actually became a really nice approach. And that was when COVID restrictions and things were still in place. So it was an acknowledgement from the hospitality team of, you know, okay, you know, it's probably an awkward situation, but let's try and make it easier and nicer experience for you just without having to kind of, you know, point out the obvious. And it was those kind of little things. It was actually really enjoyable. I enjoy that kind of process now.
Yeah. Do you think more so as men? I think there's a lot of blokes out there that they're not. I don't want to say not willing. I think we've kind of forgotten actually as men what we're actually capable of.
Yeah, I guess that's a broad kind of question as well, isn't it? It's because
I'm not sure if it's a question or a statement, to be honest, but yeah.
Well, a bit of a statement, but I think it's kind of something that we talked about yesterday when we caught up over coffee, right? It's like it's technology has evolved at such a rate. We live in a disposable society where everything, you know, if it isn't good enough, it can be replaced, and it has kind of human condition made people a little bit kind of softer with those types of things.
Yeah,
so when we talk to the guys at like East Anglia Bushcraft and stuff, is the fundamental driver of doing these things and going out and wild camping or going for a long walk or testing yourself, even if it's just getting on a packed tube train, you know, is to be able to test and progress and you know, challenge yourself, because it is an incredibly important part of, you know, growth, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Outside of your comfort zone, not in your comfort zone.
Yeah, I think self-independence is. I think we're losing it.
Yeah.
I think up to a point. Obviously, I'm well aware. Obviously, if I would have booked something maybe a year ago to go to Brussels, I'm not sure. I don't think my headspace would have handled it then, because I was going through a few things. Actually, now I'm just like, okay, let's just do it.
There's a weird dichotomy there, really, though, isn't it? Because between saying self-sufficient, like resilience and being able to do things on your own, versus actually then championing the message of, you know, when you're having a bad time, reach out, speak to people, you know, it is a community, and you know, it takes a village sometimes, isn't it?
No, it does, but I think there's a black bush campers or something like that, which I'm probably not saying that name right, but he said when he's having a bit of a mental wobble and his anxiety and whatever else, he said he tells his wife, he's like, I need to go away for a night. And she's like, piss off then.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think it goes that message, what I'm quite vocal about. You can talk about mental health without talking about mental health. You don't need to use the terms low depressing feelings if you're just not that kind of person. That's cool if you are. But it's actually, Phil, can you do this for a few days? I need space.
Yeah, and that's it. It's like the words that you're using there. Sometimes it isn't. It's, you know, it's cathartism, it's recharge, it's disconnection, it's compartmentalization. So many different ways of kind of coping or creating that opportunity to, you know, just kind of get your head in a good place again.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And for me, it's I've literally got a load off, mate. I don't even know what it's reset. Yeah. I really don't, but it's just, I'm just a lot more patient with people and all this. Ask me again in 6 months whether it's all built back up again. Don't know, don't have a clue. But it has, for me, it's just reset something and just, yeah, it's just reset my brain. It's like I can think properly.
Trying something new can open up so many opportunities.
Exactly, and that's what it's all about.
We'll leave that as a mic drop. Then we can pick up hobbies and stuff on another conversation.
No, exactly. But I think our work here is done, really, isn't it? Yeah. But I don't really know what the takeaway is if you're triggered or feeling something with.
Try something new. Try something new. You know, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It doesn't mean having, like, you know, packing your bag and going backpacking around Europe or going climbing a mountain or something. It's just, you know, anxiety is about stepping outside of that comfort zone, sometimes realizing that nobody's judging you, and actually the benefit of just taking that incremental little step. You know, if you're shacked up at home feeling completely kind of lost about stuff, it's just go for a 10-minute walk, do a lap. You know,
it's funny actually, because when I saw that conversation between you and Rob Core, I've forgotten his surname already.
Theory, yeah.
That's he was the guest. He was a guest on here a couple of months ago, whatever else. And actually, he hit a valid point. But actually, saying if you don't want to go out, I think it's long enough. If you don't want to go out because you think everyone's going to be watching you, judging you, blah blah blah, actually they're not. And the next slide was like, because everybody's distracted looking at their phones, sucked into their life.
100%.
So you probably won't get judged. And do you know what? If somebody does notice you and starts speaking to you, then speak to them, because at least they're not engrossed on their bloody mobile phones.
Well, exactly. Especially if it's you, because you don't take any pictures when you're on these adventures, just dogs and beer.
That's life, my friend. Gerald, his name was Gerald. It was absolutely awesome. But cool. I think we're done, my friend.
Nice one. Well, thanks for joining us, Dan. Hopefully we see you again on MANUP, and yeah, we'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, happy days. Let me hit that record button.